Hi Leo, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your May 1st to the 15th, 2021 reading for you. Now I ask if this reading resonates with you. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and also to subscribe to my channel. And if you would like to be notified whenever I upload new videos, and I upload all the time, just hit the bell notification button. And if you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will be listed and linked in the description box below. Now, before we begin this reading, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds. Letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. Let's let the bowls sing as we see what the tarot has to say. Leo. May 1st to the 15th, 2021, Leo. May 1st to the 15th, 2021, Leo. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Ooh, okay. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides, angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading. Perfect. Let's move these down just a bit so you can see it a little bit better. Okay, the left-hand side is going to be the inner self. The middle is the heart, the emotional self. The right-hand side, the public arena, the public self. So let's see what the cards have to say. We start off with the Six of Wands. It's beautiful, moving right into the sun. Then we have the Hermit, which is Virgo energy. Time frame is August 23rd to September 22nd. This can also be if you're born on the cusp with Leo, with Virgo Leo. This is going to be that energy really coming up. You're going to find yourself really embracing more of a Virgo temperament during this time. And then you have the 10 of Cups. It's absolutely beautiful. And they all live happily ever after. We have the King of Wands. This is fire sign energy. Of course, this is us shining through, Leo being a fire sign. This can also be Aries and Sagittarius, but it's really talking to you and being in control of your heart and what we desire and how we want to be and where we want to be within our lives. The Page of Swords, air sign energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Then we have the Knight of Wands. This is again fire sign energy. So we're coming through as a king, but also as a knight. We're embracing the celebration of ourselves, but we're also embracing this turning inward, seeing what we really need and desire. And then we have the Five of Wands, which is argument for the sake of argument, like chaos for the sake of chaos. So we have to be mindful here. We have the Page of Cups, crowning our heart, which is water sign energy, Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer. This can be a child in our lives that really is kind of taking all our attention in the public arena, but this can also be somebody who is learning, who is developing. We ourselves are learning and developing, gaining new understandings, gaining new insights to where we want to be, how we want to move forward. There's going to be inspiration from the most unlikely of places. This then moves us to the Nine of Swords, which is worry, doubt, fear, chaos, nightmares. We have the World coming forward, so the world is opening, and we can be very afraid as the world is opening. And then we have the Knight of Swords. It's kind of like, I have to go after this. I just do. I have to move forward. I have to go after what I want in our hearts. We are a student in the public arena. We are the warrior. We are the defender. So that's going to be really, really important. So let's look at our chakra energy for this time. Leo. May 1st to the 15th, 2021, Leo. Angels and spirit guides. Fantastic. So we have here creativity, the sacral chakra. This is where our creative energy is stored, yes, but also our sexual energy. But this is also where a lot of our negativity from this life and past lives is stored. So because this is also, again, where our creative and sexual energy is, this is why the sacral chakra is so important, but also why we can get tripped up so easily with it. Because there is a sense of we bring so much baggage to the sacral chakra. We bring so much baggage into our lives. And so here, there is a real sense of how do I embrace the creative? How do I embrace the erotic within my existence? The erotic in the pure sense of the word, the not just sexual eroticism, but also the sense of the beauty, the wonder, the like unfolding and glory that life holds for it. So there's this real sense of that power guiding us, that power being a part of us during this time, and we're really needing to channel it, but we're also going to find it challenging to be able to do so. And then it moves us to the energy that we need to be mindful of during this time. So let's see here. Now the sacral chakra is also going to be the place, where we need to be a little bit more sensitive. Okay, so here we have the energy of the Hermit coming through. So this is Virgo energy once again. And we have the energy of the Lord, which is Aries energy. So it's going to be that hardship of being able to turn inward as we embrace our throne, as we embrace what we want, as we're looking towards where we want to be. It can also be somebody who doesn't really communicate very well with us, but wants to be the ruler of that area, wants to say, this is me, this is what I want, this is what I need. And that's just that. If we don't have explanation, Leo, we're not going to listen. It's going to be like that tyrannical boss that says, you need to do this, and if you don't do this, there are threats then that come. But there's a real sense here of, I need to know the whys, and I need to know the how comes. And I'm not going to really be playing really well with others during this time. That's why the fire sign energy came through again, because we're challenged by that fire sign energy of Aries, by that sense of, I am the emperor, I am the battle god, I am the one that needs to be listened to. And there's a real sense here of, well, okay, you can be listened to, and I will listen to you if need be, but I need the explanation. And then there's just going to be that sense of the Hermit where I'm not connecting. I'm too much in my own head. The people that we're dealing with the Hermit energy, it's like, and okay, so what Spirit said is the hard thing during this time is that we can be kind of the same way, because we do have that Virgo energy right here. So it can be that we're too much in our own heads. We're looking at things a very specific way. They're doing the exact same thing. If we're in a relationship with this person, it's like we're not even reading from the same book. It's not even that we're on a different page. We're not even communicating the way that we want to be. We're not even, understanding each other. So there's a real sense here of looking at what is desired, turning inward, seeing what we want, seeing where we want to be, and then checking in with those around us. It's like, okay, am I on the same page? Like, are we lined up the same way? If not, why? How is it that I'm moving forward? How is it that I want to be within my life? And there's a real sense inwardly of being able to celebrate myself. And this is going to be so important for us during this time, Leo. It's not in that egotistical way. So always with Leo, there's this sense, and people write about it all the time. They'll say, oh, Leos are egotistical. It's like, no, we're not egotistical. What we are is we're driven and we're focused. And we know that we have to carve our way. And so during this time, when we are carving our way and when we're looking at things in openness and honesty for ourselves and what we desire and where it is that we want to be, we're really starting to say, okay, what am I doing well? What have I done really well? How have I kept my head above water? How have I, kept myself moving forward? And then there's also that sense of, okay, where can I improve? But not focusing on the improvement so that we can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. Because Leo, we can do that. We can sit there and say, but this is where I need to improve. This is where I need to focus on. We can have that tunnel vision. And then all the celebration that we do for ourselves is going to go right out the window because it'll never be enough. It'll never be enough to combat, the sense of I should be doing more. I should be bringing more to the table. So here with the Six of Wands, there's a real sense of I need to celebrate me for the honor and the brilliance of me. My inner self needs to see my worth, and I need to move forward with the pride and the victory of who I am. And that starts to make us shine. I mean, that really starts to make us shine like the sun. That is a sense of beauty and coming together and honor and understanding, and this is our radiance. Now, when the sun comes through, we can have a lot of people get negative towards us because they see that light. They see that happiness. I mean, especially since we're starting to celebrate ourselves. We're really starting to say, I matter, I'm brilliant. I have this going for me. I'm moving forward. Doors are opening. And we have the Ten of Cups at our root. The Ten of Cups is the happily ever after. We can be a little mysterious because of the Virgo energy. So we're not really going to tell everybody everything all the time because it's not their business. But the sun here is saying, I need to celebrate me. I need to bring forward the beauty. I need to bring forward my joy. I need to let myself shine. And I'm doing so brilliantly and openly and honestly and powerfully within myself. And as I do this, the Virgo energy has me turning inward. Because as I celebrate me, as I get to be that happy, child riding on a horse, like just carefree, everything going for me, the new dawn, the new day, the extent and the exuberance of self coming forward, I then have the Hermit. I have the Hermit saying, the sun now, our closest star, is in the lantern. It's guiding me forward. It's helping me realize my dreams, what I want, what I desire, where I want to be, what I long for, what I don't want anymore. I'm starting to be honest with myself. And we might be saying, okay, Dane, I've been honest with myself, but it hasn't gotten me to where I want to be. And that's fair. That's fair. A lot of times when we turn inward, and it's kind of like spring cleaning, right? You tear everything up, you throw everything all around, and you look at what you want, what you don't want, and where it is that you want to be, like the end goal. And this is spring cleaning for our inner selves. We turn inward, we look at the path that we're heading on that's right for us, we look on the paths that we've headed on that weren't right for us, we see everything in between, and we start to really focus on where we want to be, on what we desire, on who it is that we are, on the joys and the happinesses that can guide us forward. And that leads us to the Ten of Cups. That leads us to joy. That leads us to an expanse of beauty within ourselves. This is the happily ever after. This is the grown-ups being mirrored by the children. So it can even be the adult side of us being mirrored by the inner child of our souls and where we want to be and how we want to move forward in our lives. This is a completion of a cycle emotionally. So there's a lesson learned that is bringing us closer and closer and closer to our happiness, to our joy, to our greater understanding. And it leads us to being a king of our hearts. Now, with being a king of our hearts, this is why Spirit said before, we can be very intense on ourselves because we're looking at the ways that we celebrate, right? The king is looking at the Six of Wands. And it can be the sense of, well, I should be celebrating myself more, right? I should be doing this more. All of a sudden, it can become like a job instead of like, wow, this is a beautiful side of me and I'm embracing it. Wow, this is a beautiful part of me and I'm letting it shine forward. So we have to be mindful of that during this time, that we don't make everything into a chore. We don't make everything into work because we'll have a tendency to take things, even the most beautiful things, and we'll make it into a job. And here it's like we have the Ouroboros eating its own tail. So it's like here, I understand the wisdom that I am living by, the knowledge that I've I've acquired, okay, becomes the wisdom for which I would live by. So it's the serpent eating its own tail. It's that knowledge, it's that power, it's that understanding, guiding us, building us, leading us forward, becoming more a part of us than it was before. And this is us really standing in this power, really gaining this understanding, really knowing ourselves more in a ferocity of spirit, in a sense of this is what I want and this is what I need and this is where I'm headed. And there, excuse me, there is during this time a sense of being seen. Our hearts are going to be seen, but also our knowledge of our hearts are going to be seen. And it opens us up in a way that is extraordinary. And it moves us to the Page of Swords. And the Page of Swords is being a student of our mind. Now, this can also be a child that is air sign energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, but we also have here us being a student of our hearts and of our minds. Those two kind of abstract aspects of ourselves being very important to the way that we move forward, to the prosperity that we're gaining within our lives, to the power that is becoming a part of us. And there's a real sense here of, I have an understanding. I know. I see. I am studying, what is right for me and what isn't. This is also being a student of the breath. We can, look at the Wim Hof exercises in the description box below. I think I have the more advanced one. We can go for beginners and just practice the power of the breath. Just practice the power of the self, where we want to be, how we want to move forward, what it is that we desire, where it is that we want to, what is our end goal? And so here, there is this greater sense of ideas coming forward, of a sense of self guiding us, of a sense of power, cutting through a lot. Because remember, swords are the only thing that is a weapon, first and foremost. It's the only thing in the tarot that is constantly a weapon. And it is the only thing that denotes nobility. You might say the kings and queens denote nobility, and yes, that is true. But if we look at the tarot as evolution, okay? And we look at the aces of the gifts that we are born with, or the gifts that we get as we are born or as we develop, and the numbers increasing up until we're the student. We're the person who's able to denote time to learning this one craft. And then the knight, the person who's being able to defend that. The king and the queen, they are the highest aspect of that one form of our personality, that one line of ourselves. So here, it is saying that when the swords come into play, it's a symbol simply of nobility, not of the higher aspect of ourselves, because we start off here as students, and it's still denoting nobility. We start off with the aces in the beginning of the line. It's still denoting nobility. And there's a sense here of noble intentions, of greater desires, of wanting to see things more openly and honestly for ourselves, falling out of an old connection that was toxic to us, and falling into alignment with how we want to move forward. Now, because of this time, we're taking this energy, we're focusing on the breath. This is a fantastic time for meditation, and meditation would be very beneficial towards the heart, because during this time we have we have the king, right, who has the complete Ouroboroses all along his cloak even. We can see that right here. But then we have the knight, and the knight is a contrast, because we don't have the page. So where the page of wands has some closed Ouroboroses and some open ones, the knights are simply opened. So this is a time, just think of it as like being a guy from the ages of like 16 to 25, where your insurance goes up really, really high. You have a really high insurance, really high rate on the car because you're going to be more reckless. This is that embodiment of recklessness. So it can even be during those formative years. As a fire sign, we can be more reckless. We can kind of take those risks and say, well, we'll see what happens, type of deal. But this is a time also where we charge forward, and we also have to think of the consequences, not so much so that it'll keep us from going after what we want, but because it's going to be important. It's going to be important to say, okay, is this where I want to be? Is this how I want to move forward? What do I desire? What do I want? Checking in to our dreams and to ourselves instead of getting swept up in the fire of, but this is my passion and this means everything. It's like, okay, right now, but step back and see where the true drive comes from. Because what's going to happen during this time is that we have our passion, right? We have our desire. We have that torch, that creative, sensual, erotic aspect of ourselves, really standing erect within our lives. But if we don't check in and say, this is what I want, and this is what right now feels like it could be filling that void, or, I think might maybe be moving me forward this way, there's going to be a real need of checking in and saying, what do I want to be able to celebrate myself for? Where do I want to be? What is it that I desire? What am I looking for? What do I need to know about my mind, about my character, about the place that I stand and the place that I want to continue standing within myself? So these questions come up, and we have to not just let ourselves charge forward, recklessly. So that's going to be something that we need to come into understanding with our hearts. And then it brings us to the Five of Wands. The Five of Wands is argument for the sake of argument. I mean, it's chaos for the sake of chaos, and enough is enough. Here we have to look at things within our hearts, within our emotions, within the way we look at things and say, is this what I want or is this not what I want? Do I want to keep with the arguments? Do I want to keep with the drama at work, with the drama at home, or do I want things to change? And the way things change is that we start changing ourselves. Now, there are times when people say, I've raised my energy vibration and my friends don't talk to me anymore. My relationship failed. This can't be a good thing because it's going so poorly. It's a detox. And sometimes when you detox from things, you get sick. I mean, you get sick, you think, oh, this isn't the right way. I wouldn't feel so miserable if this was right. But it's like we had to purge away what wasn't right, what was making us drained, and what made us think that this place of apathy or this place of pain and hurt and chaos was our normal. And now we're going to see this be addressed in a very real way, because this is at the root of our hearts. We cannot be the king that we want to be, the ruler of our lives that we want to be, if we're constantly in a state of chaos. And so here we look at the chaos. Now, these are fights just for the sake of fighting. This can be doubt and worry and anxiety that we keep perpetuating within our head. And if we think about it, we think, why am I even doing this to myself? Why can't I move out of this cycle? And so this is going to be an important thing for our hearts, because we so desperately want and need and deserve the Ten of Cups, the beauty, the prosperity, the laughter, the joy to come forward. We deserve the life filled with color, filled with radiance. It's the erotic. It's the sensual. It's the beautiful of existence, being able to be a part of us again. And it's that connection that's saying here, I deserve it. I deserve it and I want it. And I'm not looking for anybody else to build me up, but I'm definitely not going to let anybody else knock me down. And it brings us to the Page of Cups. It brings us to being a student of our hearts in the public arena. We're saying, where do I want to be? We're getting inspiration from the most unlikely of places. It's like, okay, well, what do I desire? Where is it that I'm heading towards? What is it that my heart is leading me towards? We're going to be looking at things here, and we're going to be saying, why? We're going to find ourselves saying why a lot. Does this elevate my heart? Does this person make me feel happy and contented? Is this a joy or isn't it? Now, of course, you might be saying, Dane, everything cannot be a joy. And I completely understand and agree with you. Everything can't be a joy. Life is not about jumping from one high, puffy, beautiful cloud to the other. Life has its lows. It has its hardships and its pains and its disappointments. And it can be ugly at times, uglier than we ever wanted it to be or ever thought it could be. But this is being a student of what we love. And sometimes through the darkest of moments, and a lot of times it's in the darkest of moments, that we realize what's the most important to us, that we see where the joy is, where we start looking at our hearts, embracing our souls, seeing ourselves in a powerful, brilliant way. And so we have that sense of being a student of love, of facing, kind of the choppier waters of things, and then it moves us to the Nine of Swords. Now, we have here the repeat of the number 9, which means that we're coming very close to a completion of a cycle, and we will see a completion of a cycle emotionally. It might not exactly be the completion that we want, but it is going to be the completion that we get that starts to lead us towards our happiness. The Nine of Swords is nightmares. It's doubts. It's fears. It's not being able to rest at night. It's having the weight of the world upon our shoulders and keeping it there, thinking this is what I have to bear. This is the cross that is my suffering. And it's like, no. This can be something that is a hardship for us, that breaks our heart, that wears us down, that scars us. But life is about scars. It just is. In Buddhism, they say life is suffering. In Christianity, we have the cross, and when they say, pick up your cross and carry it, it's like, pick up your burden, pick up the thing that is going to be hard and carry it, make it your own. And that's an odd thing to think of, but it's a powerful thing. It is a powerful thing to say, I can conquer my nightmares. I understand that life is going to knock me down, but I'm getting back up. And I'm not staying small. and I'm not staying quiet. So as we become a student of our hearts, as we start to embrace this beauty within it, we become a student of our voice, of saying what we love, what we want. That's why, you would think the Page of Cups would be in the heart. It's like, no, it's in the Page of Swords, it's in the heart, because the mind and the heart are starting to work together. And the heart, as the mind works with the heart, becomes part of our waking reality, becomes part of our vocabulary, becomes part of our emotional intelligence. And all of a sudden, the heart, the hurts, the pains, the fears, they get seen. But they get seen for what they are. They get seen for the obstacles to be overcome. They get seen for the fears to be faced. They get seen for the needing to raise our energy vibration so that we can have a better life, so that we can embrace joy and beauty and prosperity of self, and really move us forward into a new and better world. And it brings us then to the world. It brings us to the world opening up in a very real way, in a way that we might find very overwhelming, that we might be trying to talk ourselves out of because, we might not be good enough. We'll sit there and name 15 million different reasons why we failed, why we can't, why there's no beauty to our existence. And the world is going to say, but yes, there is. There's conquering here. There's celebration. There's reason for joy. There's a sense of opening up our reality and our soul and ourself and embracing the world in a way that we didn't think possible. The nightmares, they're going to want to keep us back. They're going to want to knock us down. But we can have time where we don't sleep well, right? We can have time where we doubt ourselves. But those are times where we're going to see ourselves transforming. And this is a time where we look at the nightmares, the doubts, and the fears, and we call them out. It's like, okay, I'm afraid of this. I'm going to make myself conquer it. Not in a reckless way, like I'm afraid of, something totally scary, and then we think, oh, I'm just going to do that all the time. No, if we have proper logical fears, that's one thing. But if we're afraid of something and we're letting it rule us, instead of taking back our power, that is something else. And this is a time where the power is taken back because the world starts to open because of it. It's because if we can conquer this fear, this hurt, this pain, this disappointment, this upset, we can conquer so much more. And the world begins to become more real, more beautiful, the colors more vibrant. And it moves us then to the Knight of Swords. Now, the Knight of Swords can be very rash, and because we have the Knight of Wands and the Knight of Swords, the two fastest moving knights, we can be very rash in the way that we want to move forward and what we want to go after. It's like, we have to do it now. If I think about it too much, I'll lose my nerve. It's like, okay, that might be true. We can't let worry and fear take over, which we have with the Nine of Swords being something very easy that can happen. But with the Knight of Swords, it's a sense of knowing our mind. It's a sense of having the armor on and defending ourselves and saying, this is where I have to go. I have to slay the dragon. I have to cut through the poison of the world. I have to ascend. I have to have my vibrational energy ascend, or just even myself, my consciousness, what I desire from the world. It becomes less base, less primal, and more in line with a spiritual goal or with a sensual, erotic beauty of life, self. And this is the way that we start to move forward. This is the way we start to go after what we desire and where we want to be. And yes, at times we really do have to check ourselves because we have the radiance shining on us and we think, I can do it. I'm just going to go after it. I'm just going to let myself shine. And then we can find ourselves being very disappointed because it's not going to work out the way that we had expected. But there is a real sense here with the Knight of Swords. It's like, if I know what I want, and if I cut through those fears and those doubts and those angers and those upsets, I ascend. And I become more aligned with me than I have been in a very long time, if not ever. And so let's see here. Because we're conquering this fear, okay, this chaos right here, the Five of Wands, that is keeping us from our happily ever after with the Ten of Cups. So let's see. Please define the Knight of Swords for Leo. Please define the Knight of Swords for Leo. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading. And one bonus card. Awesome. So we have the Death card, the dying away of the old self, the rebirth of the new. This is also Scorpio energy. Time frame October 23rd to November 21st. We then have the Ten of Wands, carrying burdens, holding too much. We have the Hierophant, Taurus energy, April 20th to May 20th. We have the Ace of Swords, the bonus card being the Devil. And that makes sense. So over all of this is the Devil energy. The sense of, can I have what I want? Am I chained to where I don't want to be, to madness, to chaos, to hurts, to pains, to addictions and disabilities and, pains of the past? Am I chained to this? Am I never going to be able to have the shot that I want in life? Now, this can also be Capricorn energy. So for those who that rings true with, take it as it is. But there's also this real sense of the chaos, the devil, coming forward. And it's simply chaos. The devil is a conglomeration of pagan earth deities. And so chaos deities made into one, great one. So here we have the sense of chaos, but we have also the sense, because of the way the devil has evolved within our minds and our teachings and our literatures, is that the devil is evil. And so here it is the evil that keeps us down. It's the evil that keeps us chained. And we have here the chains around them. But we also have the devil not looking at them. They can break free. What chains are around us that are held because we don't realize that we can be free? Are held because we don't know how to move ourselves forward and achieve what we want to achieve. It brings us to the Death card. We have here a need for the dying away of the old self, a rebirth of the new, as we embrace our throne, our prosperity, our bravery, our rebirth, and our expanse of knowledge, and as we have ourselves being a student of our mind and our desires and what we want. The Death card, the dying away of the old self, is that constant state that fire sign energies are in, of the Ouroboros, of the devouring of our own tail. The death, the rebirth, the regeneration, the re-understanding. And there's a sense here that it equalizes us, because as we watch and as we see ourselves transform, and as we walk on this journey of transformation, we'll see that other people transform, that others who might talk with a whole bunch of confidence, they don't really know more than anybody else. And so here, with the Death card, there is a sense of, I am changing, I am transforming. There's a metamorphosis. I get to embrace that. I get to be a part of it. I look at the weight that I've been carrying, everything that I've put on my shoulders, everything that I keep on saying, I'll handle, I'll handle, I'll handle. And it's like, it's enough. I don't want to handle everything anymore. And we're definitely going to see that with the world opening to us, and also with the Nine of Swords. Part of the anger, part of the fear is that, am I going to have to carry everything for my whole entire life? Yes, we have responsibilities, and we do have responsibilities, and we need to uphold them. But there's a real sense here of, what am I upholding for me? Why is it when I carry the wands, he's looking at his feet, he's picking up more wands, but they're heavy, he'll be looking down. Am I always looking down? Am I always looking at my own feet and the dirt that I'm walking in, instead of the beauty of the sky around me and, the sun shining on me? It is time to release the burdens, to look up at the sun, and to let us embrace joy and prosperity and greatness, and look at what we've been carrying for so long, that we want to start incorporating into our world, that we want to bring forward. We then have the Hierophant, and the Hierophant is Taurus energy. It's stubbornness, all right? This is stubbornness, and you might think, oh no, I'm already stubborn enough as a Leo. I don't need more stubbornness to come in. But this is a stubbornness of being able to control kings. Remember, the Hierophant in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, and even in this deck, he's wearing the Pope's hat. He has the cross up on top. This is a sense of, I am the ruler. In medieval times, the Pope was the ruler. He could tell kings and queens and emperors and empresses what to do, and they listened. And so this is the power of, I know my innate inner self. I know my powerful self. And I can move me forward in the way that I desire, in the way that is needed to express and to conquer and to understand me. I am opening up that door. I am embracing that expanse, that understanding. And it brings us to the Ace of Swords. It brings us to God's source spirit, however you see the divine, the universe, handing you a gift of knowledge, of wisdom, of cutting through the doubts and the fears, of being able to be armed with a weapon that, as a commoner, okay, if we are not of noble blood, which I know that I'm not, we would have been killed for holding. That's why we see in pictures of, peasant rebellions, they hold pitchforks in their hands, or hammers, or, weapons that come from a farm. It's not just because they didn't have the money for a sword. They could have made themselves a sword. Really, you have blacksmiths, right? But they couldn't hold one. They would die just for holding one. And so here's a gift that makes us nobility instantaneously, that raises us to a place of power, to a place of understanding and reason and determination. It's a place where we start to be aware of our words, of our mind, and of what we want from our life. Now it brings us to saying here, well then where's the chaos? Because what's interesting is we have the Hierophant 5 in the Major Arcana over the 5 of Wands, also over the Knight of Wands. So as we're moving forward, as we're charging forward into the chaos, because that's what we're going to be doing at this time, our hearts are going to be like, just hit that chaos straight on. And here it's like, no, know what you want. Know what you want and desire. See if that chaos deserves your attention. And if it doesn't, let it go. So let's look here. But I think that pretty much answered the question of the 5 of Wands. So let's look at the 9 of Swords. Please define the 9 of Swords for Leo. Please define the 9 of Swords for Leo. Angels and spirit guides. The 10 of Cups. So it's the fear in the public arena. It's the desire in our inner selves, because now we have the 10 of Cups showing up twice. It's the desire for the happily ever after, for the joy, for the connection, for the love, for the happiness and the laughter and the brilliance. And it's the fear of, I don't get to have that. That's for others. That's not for me. That's not true at all. It is most definitely for you. So let's look at, please define the 10 of Cups for Leo. Please define the 10 of Cups for Leo. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Ooh. So the 5 of Wands and this one, and the Queen of Water. So the 5 of Wands is again chaos. So it's interesting. It's like the chaos that is around us, the chaos of the fighting for the sake of fighting, for the emotional manipulation, the sense of I don't know where I stand, I don't know what I want. And then we have the 5, and we have this 5 of Wands, which seems calmer, but it has that same energy to it, because it has that same connotation from the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. It's like, what is it that I need to burn? What is it that I need to release in order to fully embrace me? And then we need to let in and to release. We need to release the chaos, okay? The anger, the doubt, the fear. If it's writing it out in a journal and just being like, I have to get Medicel somewhere, and it might as well be in this book where I can burn the pages afterwards. But there's also a real sense here of needing to let love and healing in. We aren't unredeemable or irredeemable. There is a beauty to us. There's a reason why we were put on this earth. And it wasn't to be a chronic failure, or it wasn't to simply struggle all our lives. And so the Queen of Waters, well, the Queen of Waters is the queen that's second only to the Empress, of healing and beauty and connection and understanding and compassion. And it's letting that healing beauty come in. It's letting it be a part of us. And it's letting it empower us. And knowing that, yes, I can only heal myself, but I can also open up this energy to the world around me and say, I am living in this meditative state of joy. I'm living in the state of healing and contemplation and completion and a heart's truth. And I open this energy to the world. Not letting everybody in. It's still being discerning. We don't just leave the door open and go out of our house and then come home, see that we're robbed and be like, oh, what the heck happened here? No, you lock the door for a reason. Here, there is a sense of, I open this healing energy, but I'm not letting everybody into my world because I just can't. It then moves us to our chakra, to our spirit animal message. So let's see what this has to say. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. It's the ant spirit. It's time to collaborate. It's time to come together. During this time especially, we're not made to be alone. We're not made to handle this all on our own. It's time to come together. It's time to broaden our horizons. It's time to have different points of view come forward. And it's time to see that collaboration work. And this can be with other people, most definitely, but this is also with our angels and our spirit guides. A sense of, I am not alone, and I am collaborating with this beautiful, spiritual, powerful energy. It moves us to our subconscious spirit animal message, which is the Scarab Beetle, which says, magic works through you. Now, the Scarab Beetle was sacred in ancient Egypt. So for magic to be working through us, it's connecting with that sacred. It's connecting with that beautiful. It's connecting with the ancient. And it starts to build us forward, because magic isn't conjuring magic if you don't, like, if that's not your thing. It is the sense of falling into alignment with ourselves. It's a sense of striving for the greater, the better, the more peaceful within us, and the more powerful around us. And it's not the power of, like, I've accumulated more than you. It's the power of, I can see clearly down that thread, down that strand of tapestry that is me. And it moves us then to our subconscious chakra message, which is flexibility. Again, the sacral chakra comes up. So we have the creativity, we have the sensuality, the erotic coming forward, but we also have the sense of all the baggage from this life, from past lives, pulling us down, wanting to stop us. We need to be flexible. We need to kind of be like the reed on the edge of the sea, that bends and sways but doesn't break. And this is a time where we look at the stuff that would have broken us, that would have torn us apart, and say, I see you, I acknowledge you, I'm not ruled by you. It moves us then to our subconscious person message, which is the Queen of Pentacles. This is a vibrational energy that doesn't always align with ours. This is a sense of needing to see where our prosperity lies, but also knowing that it doesn't have to be with everybody else's or following the same path that other people's follows. It's like, I can have my own path, I can have my own way of viewing of what is important to me, and that's okay. It moves us to our subconscious, our subconscious spirit message, which is the Hermit. Now, this is over the definition here for the Nine of Swords, for the heartbreak and the pain and the disappointment. So it's turning inward. It's, again, having it connect with the 9 of the Hermit. So 9 is going to be important. We might see that we cry over something 9 times, or we, something has the number 9 around it, and it's like, oh my gosh. Or it could be 9 years that we've been doing something, or 9 months, and it's like, oh my goodness, when is it going to stop? And we're starting to see by turning inward, seeing what we want, seeing what we desire, seeing what we need. Things start to open. We also start to understand ourselves more. And then it moves us to our next subconscious message. And it's around the 10 of Cups. And it's the 2 of Pentacles. It's being able to balance. We have to first balance ourselves. We're going to want to balance everything else for everyone else. First, we have to balance us. And then there can be power. Then there can be brilliance. Then we can start opening up the door and seeing and holding everything else that needs to be held onto. It needs to be taken care of. But if we forget ourselves, we're going to find ourselves a bit adrift. So then it moves us here to our subconscious message. And it's the Sun. We have worries, doubts, and fears because we're afraid that even if the sun is shining on us, that it's a mistake. That, it's soon going to go out or shine on somebody else and we're going to be left in the dark again. No, it's letting the sun shine forward. It's letting the beauty come. It's letting us be a part of it. And it moves us to our subconscious tarot message for this whole entire thing. And that's the Hierophant coming up again. The Hierophant is, again, that Taurus energy, that sense of stubbornness and, stability and being bullheaded about things, but also the sensuality. That's what we forget about Taurians. We forget how important the sensuality is. And we forget that about ourselves, Leo. The sensual, the beautiful, the erotic, the not just simply in a sexual sense, but in a sense of, I want beauty to be a part of my life. I want there to be wonderment. And it's starting to open up our lives to that. And also saying, this is corely who I am. This is me at the core. If I go against this core, I go against of so much that I stand for, and so much that I am, and so much that I will be. and I will not be moving against the essence of me. And it's taking a really powerful stand, but it's a really necessary one. Okay. All right, Leo. I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I'm sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we break the chains that are no longer needed, and more importantly, no longer wanted. So we embrace the essence of ourselves with power, with dignity, and raising our energy vibration to a mighty place. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Leo.